Welcome back to Situations, where real life gets unpacked, unfiltered, and a little too relatable. Season 8 starts now. Let's get into it.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelvin, your host of Situations the Podcast.
And I'm your co-host, Miss Deanna.
I would like to know how everybody doing out there today. Deanna, how you feel today?
I feel pretty good. Got some rest on this Mother's Day.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Before we get started, I just want to wish all the mothers a happy Mother's Day. I hope you guys really enjoyed your day, and just keep being great at what you do. Okay.
Absolutely. Happy Mother's Day, ladies.
Once again, I want to send a major shout out to my moms as well. So, okay.
Happy
Yeah.
Mother's Day, Mama.
Right. Okay. As you all may know, or some of you may not know, today is our final episode of season 8. We've completed 8 seasons after today. Next week, we will not be broadcasting. Next week, we're going to take a week off. We will be back the following week, beginning of season 9. So once again, today makes our final episode of season 8. Okay. Like I said, a lot of this couldn't have been done without the support of you guys tuning in every week,
Absolutely.
and encouraging us to keep pursuing, our dreams and giving us ideas and topics to discuss. Okay.
Right.
So today we're going to talk about our podcasts turning men against women.
Okay.
That's what we're going to be discussing today. And the reason that topic was chosen because a lot of people are really getting into podcasts, and a lot of people are really tuning into these podcasts.
Right.
And the podcasts that's basically based themselves on relationships and talks about the things that we talk about. Is like we're either gonna give our opinion based on women, or we're gonna give our opinions based on men. So people take these ideas and take these things and they run with them. And they try to apply it to, their everyday life. So that's what we're gonna be discussing today. Do you think these podcasts are turning men against women? Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
I'm ready.
So what I'm gonna ask you first is, our podcast is creating awareness, or they planting resentment? What's your take on that?
I think it's both, but I would say majority rule in creating resentment or resistance or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Liz. Liz in the building. We appreciate you tuning in, Liz. Happy Mother's Day.
Hey, Liz.
And she said, Happy Mother's Day, Tiana.
Happy Mother's Day.
Okay. So you saying both then, right?
Right. But I'm going to say the majority rule with the resentment.
Okay. Well, I think a lot of times, in a lot of these situations, men are waking up to a lot of these patterns that women are doing now. And some of the things that we may have been blind to, these different podcasts are starting to shine light on subjects that hit close to home. So now these men are starting to look at their situation compared to the things that we're talking about, and they're
Right.
applying them to their everyday life, and now they're starting to pick up on things they didn't probably have never picked up on before.
But see, my
So,
thing with that is they start lumping all the women in.
okay,
But and it's like all the women didn't do it. I mean, even the women in their experience, like at some point you didn't learn something through that. So
right,
you didn't know what I'm saying? So after they get out of one relationship, it's like, oh well now I'm doing 50-50. I don't want to be a provider no more. Now I'm doing this, or now I ain't going this. And it's like, sir, I didn't do it.
right. Well, I
You
mean,
know?
I know that for a fact. We can't put all women in the same barrel. You
Yeah,
know,
but on the podcast, they're saying that, well, all women gold diggers. Well, we can't date the black women because all of them, you got to go to this restaurant. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to do that. And it's like, every woman not like that. But you're not going to go out there and treat the hookers well. And then it's a decent woman out here. And then because you've been scarred now because you want to play the trick game and leading with your money and stuff, it's like now you scarred, you didn't heal. And now it's screw all women because you got scarred.
right, right. But let me ask you this though: it doesn't
Hmm.
help. It doesn't help the situation when women portray themselves that way. They get online and tell you that, hey, you have to have a certain amount of money to
Right,
date me. You have to be
right,
6 feet this tall to date me. You're just
right.
not gonna take. So women are putting their narrative out there, and if
They
they're
do,
putting
but
it,
guess what? You got time to spend in front of a person's face in their presence, talking to them over the phone, letting time go by to see whatever patterns they got, or see whatever pops up. You see what I'm saying? And you
right,
should go by that versus don't rush it. You know what I'm saying? And you should go by that. At some point, Sam, if this woman is a go, she gonna start asking for stuff. She gonna start saying stuff, and that's when you need to get the hell up out of there. Don't try to ride it out. You know what I'm saying? That's your exit.
right, right. Yeah, I can agree with that. Like I said, it's just funny how the women paint. I ain't gonna say all women. I'm gonna say some women. Majority of these
Yeah.
women, they paint this narrative like you have to be rich to date them. Then that's
And see,
unrealistic.
that's not even my narrative. But
Right,
also with the men, they'll want a woman that make this and that amount. But guess what? That woman ain't giving them nothing. So what good is she to you? Because now
right,
you complain, she didn't ever want to spend a dime. And then here you got a woman over here with me, don't mind spending. You see what I'm saying?
right, right.
But you wanted the woman that made a certain amount, but you don't get none of it anyway. So what value or benefit is that to you?
Okay. Well, Liz made a comment. Liz said, "Podcasts don't affect me personally. Everyone has an opinion, and that's true. Everyone
Right.
does have an
Liz,
opinion.
that's us, but we ain't the
Right,
majority.
right.
We ain't the majority, Liz.
But it don't make it any better when you get, for an example, I'm gonna give you a perfect example.
Hmm.
On the Cam Newton's podcast when he had old girl from the Baddies on there,
Right. Natalie.
um, Natalie, Nunn, right? When he had her on there, that was the
Hmm.
perfect. That's the perfect example of what I'm talking about right now.
I know.
Everything with her is related and based
Right.
on money,
Right.
finances,
And
and
they're
when
saying we the niggas with the money. And I'm not saying that. I'm saying I still want you to open the door. You can choose where we go out to eat unless you ask me where I want to go or there's a particular place I want to go. Like I still want the masculine energy to show up and be present and for you to lead.
right,
Like when I get around you, I want to turn my brain off. You got it.
absolutely. Okay, we got a few people in the building. Larry, what's up, man? We appreciate you tuning in. Liz
Hey
made a
Larry.
comment.
Uh-huh.
Liz says, Pop the Balloon and other online dating shows spark debates. That's true. But,
Right.
and I'm glad you brought that up, Liz, because do you see the type of questions these women be asking? A man can come out there with a suit jacket on, uh, uh gym shoes and things like that. They'll pop their balloon because I
They
don't
don't like
like
his
how you
outfit.
dress. You know,
Exactly.
stupid shit like that. I mean, the way you dress can be changed.
Exactly.
You didn't even get the chance to actually know this person or get a
But
chance to
guess
even
what?
speak to this person.
Right. But look at them. They're wearing stripper attire and club attire to prominent restaurants. church, and everything else. That attire don't go for that.
Right. You're right. But when they out here prancing like that, then how are they to articulate what we do or how we dress and what we need to have to date them?
Because in their eyes, they're the men with the money, they're in control, and you can't tell them nothing. So when
Right.
you get the guys that say, "Oh, I like them like that," but then when they get scarred because she actually acting like a nigga, that's what I'm saying. Now you over here complaining, saying all black women this and that. No, sir. You should have went and got a lady.
Right. Liz commented. Liz said, "Yes, these women be ridiculous with their requirements and judgments." I absolutely agree with you. I
They do.
absolutely agree with you because my thing is, like I said, what their requirements just unrealistic. You know,
Right.
for like I said, they want you to be 6 feet. You had to make six figures, and they don't even have a job. So how do I have to be rich to date a broke woman?
But
Let's
guess
make this
what?
make sense.
It ain't even for the men, it's for the women too. The women that they hang with, you have to be a certain aesthetic. You got to look a certain way. Your mindset got to be a certain way for you to hang with the. I'm telling you, it's
Right.
crazy.
Right. Yeah.
And
It's
that's why
really
I'm
hot.
glad I'm not a follower because, baby, I ain't never got to fit in y'all aesthetic.
So let me ask you this:
Hmm.
Do you think men are learning standards or developing unrealistic expectations?
You said learning standards or what? Developing?
Unrealistic expectations.
No, I think they're learning standards.
Okay, I agree. Because, like I said, if you don't have these standards, then you're gonna end up with, like you said, the
Right.
women that's just dressed half naked, don't have no respect for themselves. You
Right.
know, in church wearing with their butt all out. These are the women type of women that you gonna attract if you don't have the
Right.
standards.
And for me, as much as women want to be independent, and I would say, I've had to be, at the end of the day, even if the woman got all her stuff together, got all the money, got to this, got to that, or whatever, if she wants to be married, guess what? She still got to wait for the man to choose her and ask her. So
Right, right,
the man still hold the power
absolutely.
at the end of
Well,
the day.
okay, my boy Larry made a comment. He said expectations don't even really meet reality, and that's true. That is
But
that
guess
is
what?
that is so true.
We talking about Instagram land. They think that's reality and it's not. So guess what? The expectation that they see on Instagram, they want to drag it into the reality and it's not the same.
Right. Liz made a comment. Liz said that she don't even think they be serious about their requirements in real life. They just be saying shit for the show. And I think that's too. I think that's true too. Because,
Yeah.
you know, right now we living in a society where everything's a clickbait. Everybody
Yeah.
trying to go viral. Everybody say really stupid things and do stupid things to get the clicks and likes and the shares. You know,
Right.
but like I said, but when I see women talk like that, and I see women act like that shines
Right.
a bad light. That shines
Look,
a bad light.
look at all the female rappers. They're selling sex. They out there on the stage naked. They talking about the nigga got to have the money, and guess what? They all in relationships.
Right, right.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
You
right.
selling one thing and then you selling something totally different, and they saying their kids can't listen to their music. So guess what? They're pushing something.
Yeah,
They're selling you an illusion. So that
right.
means it's not real.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Well, let me ask you this: do you think men trust podcasts more than they trust their own relationship experiences?
I think they're starting to, yeah. Because now they feel like if they didn't have a voice, they have one now. And that's why you get the bullying and all that where the man be trolling. They be going hard online. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's why you get that. But it was like, sir, you always had a voice. Now whether you shrunk it or not or chose to shut down, that was on you. I don't feel like nobody should ever lose their voice. And a lot of
Right,
times men just be quiet for the sake of not arguing, and that's how they lose themselves. That's how they get lost.
right. Well, I mean, I agree with you because it definitely is definitely putting me in a position to have a voice because,
Yeah,
like I said, it's a lot of people into this space. You know,
yeah.
like Dr. Umar and all these other people that's standing up for the culture.
Hmm.
And what's the other lady name that Dr. Bryant or whatever her name is?
Yeah.
I can't think of her name, but you know who I'm talking about, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
People like that are really shining the light on relationships.
Right.
You know, and the people are really actually listening to what's being said. And like I said, they probably taking it and saying, you know what? Damn, are they talking about me? Are they talking about my relationship? Because I'm going through the same thing, or I'm
But
dealing
see,
with the
for
same
me,
thing.
I've always been like that. I've never. You got ask friends that I've had anything. They be like, I ain't even want to call you. I've never sided with the woman who was saying, I'd be like, you foul. Or why you doing that? Because you such and such, such and such. I done got into it with people over them having relationships and they outside acting like they single. And I'm the single one. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't nobody need to tell me. I'm like, all right, say less. I won't say
Right,
nothing else. But guess what? Now I got to move over here because I'm not moving like that.
right. Rich, Rich, what's up, man? We appreciate you tuning in. Tiana Rich
Hey,
said, "Happy
Rich.
Mother's Day."
Thank you, Rich.
Well, I mean, like I said, I really believe really starting to believe that you know, these podcasts are giving people, or should I say, men a voice, and they
Yeah.
start. I think they're just looking at things as a little different now, starting to pay
Yeah.
a little more attention. You
But it's
know,
helping women too, because guess what? When the men be telling them lies, or they this, or they with the boys, or the men is shedding light for the women as well.
mm-hmm,
Oh, well,
absolutely,
if he not getting back to you, if he this, if he that, he ain't interested in you. If he, you know what I'm saying? Like they're giving the tea on the signs.
right, right. I mean, it definitely go both ways. That's for sure.
Yeah,
It's definitely
absolutely.
going both ways because I know a lot of women are listening and viewing and
Right.
tuning in and taking notes and things
Yeah.
of that nature. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it can go both ways for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but do you think women react to the message or the tone?
Uh, I would say both because women don't like to be wrong
Okay,
and they don't like to be exposed because they don't like to apologize.
okay. Um, I can see the direction you're going with that, but
Yeah.
I think me personally, I would have to say the tone.
Yeah.
Um, because
I can
sometimes
agree with that.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, so I can agree with that because I'm like, I have definitely told me, like, don't talk to me like that in that tone. You could
Right,
say whatever you want to talk to me. We can have a
right,
debate. We can have a conversation. But when you feel like you trying to dominate me in a way or make me feel small, like you gonna scream at me and yell at me, like we not gonna get nowhere with that one.
right. Well, it all depends on the delivery. You know, if the
Right.
delivery is harsh, then
Right.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But it's a respect thing. If you especially if you're speaking the truth. If you're speaking the truth and it's a little harsh, then sometimes you
Right.
just have to sit back and take it.
Right.
Because everything don't require a rebuttal.
Right.
So but for me, I think I will lean toward more so the tone.
Yeah. But sometimes that's I said both because what if a man said, or like I told you, I've had someone tell me when you go outside, you look 60%. He didn't yell or nothing. I'm like, you need to stop it. Like I will outdress you any day.
Right,
But you taking that approach with me, letting me know that you got some interest elsewhere or something like that. Because why you talking to me like that? You see what I'm saying? He didn't yell at me. The tone wasn't wrong. It was
right.
still what he said. He was trying to diminish me. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely, absolutely. Rich made a comment. Rich said, "All I know is I found a chick was watching the podcast because she refused $40 and said the lady on the podcast was saying queens know their worth, and she said queens know their worth, and she was when she wanted 150 instead of 40. Yeah, I'll be seeing a lot of that. I'll be seeing a lot of that too, Rich. I see that a lot too. A lot of women saying that, women need to know their worth and don't settle for less and don't settle
Yeah.
for less than what you're worth. And but let me ask you this, Deanna.
Hmm.
Well, I'm asking you this because I want to know, because I really don't know. I'm not
Okay.
asking you this because I'm putting you in this category, okay? Liz, if you tuned in, let me ask you this too, Liz. I
I'm not
wanna
taking nothing personal because I
right,
know what I do and don't do.
right, okay. So when a woman say
Hmm.
they know they worth, I'm not go
Hmm.
look for an example. Let me say this. Let me back it up a little
Okay.
bit.
Okay.
I seen a clip
Hmm.
where a guy reached out to this girl
Hmm.
and he sent her $40 for lunch.
Okay.
She said she sent the $40 back because what was they gonna buy? She know her worth. Now explain to me, from a woman's perspective, what is a woman's worth? Now mind you, I sent you $40 to get you something to eat.
Right.
So you sent the $40 back saying you know your worth. What is your worth?
But they didn't turn the 40 into if they give you $40, you a hoe. You tricking. You ain't worth number $40. They didn't turn that into that. Cause
I
all
mean,
the
we
men say I
talking
got this hot.
we talking
But the
lunch
men
though.
I know, but the men keep saying I got this hot 40.
So you think they taking that and applying it to that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Because
mean, I wouldn't trip over $40 for lunch. Cause I know I'm not a whore. And if I want to sleep with you and I'm with you, then that's fine. But if I need something, I'm gonna let you know I need that as well.
right,
But I'm not finna be talking about you gotta give me some money right while I'm laying down with you. That's a whore.
right. And Liz said, "How is $40 not enough?" I agree with you, Liz. How is $40 not enough? I mean, you can take that $40 and go to Chipotle and get full.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You can take that $40
Right.
and go to McDonald's and get you 3 or 4 sandwiches, a meat, 3 or 4
Because
different
guess what?
meals with
People
$40.
are missing, people so wrapped up into illusions, images, and putting price tags on everything, they are overlooking and not appreciating kind gestures, value, thoughtfulness. You see that? You ain't none of that coming up.
Right, right.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's just like this ain't enough. I know my worth. What the you evidently you was worth something. I thought enough to send you some money for you to get you something to eat. If I ain't give a hell about you, figure it out on your own.
you're absolutely right. I mean, because I'm trying to figure out, you know, how isn't $40 enough for you to get you some lunch? If you say you get ready to go to lunch and I'm sending you $40 for I'm gonna buy your lunch today, how is it $40 not enough?
Well, guess
So
what? If she would have been having it every day after that. Uh-huh. That's what I'm saying. The men, y'all be saying this, but y'all need to see the signs. Cause then as soon as they lay down, it's what say mama their mama say, lay it low and bust it wide.
right, right.
Spread it wide. Soon as they do that, oh babe, it's whatever you want.
Yeah. Rich said a woman will accept 25 before she accept 40 because of the stereotype.
That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. That $40, they didn't put a stigma on that 40.
Right. Well, like I said, I was just trying to figure out, when a woman say I know my worth. I was just trying to figure
Yeah.
out what is the woman's worth.
But
Because
because
how
they
isn't
didn't
how isn't $40 enough for you?
but she felt like they didn't reduce her to that 40. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Because when
Wow.
when a man like I got $40 for, I got 40 for, I got 40. That's all the men are saying. So why would a woman want to take the 40?
Right. Well, I can see how I can see how that can tie in.
Yeah.
Liz said it's just ungrateful. Yeah, that too, Liz. Definitely
Yeah,
ungrateful.
I'm saying it's both, but they didn't definitely put a bad stigma on the 40.
Right,
But I
right.
would I would definitely take the $40 for lunch. Thank you, sir.
I know, right? I mean, I see nothing wrong with that. To be honest with you, forty
Yeah.
dollars. I mean, that's a decent meal for your lunch. You only getting 30 minutes. What you trying to eat?
So guess what? So you don't have no money to add to the rest if you're trying to get something else?
Right, right,
Because if you don't, then what is your worth?
right. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, let me ask you guys this. Everybody that's
Okay.
tuned in, once again, I wanna say thank you guys for continue to rock with us. But let me ask you guys this: Do you
Uh-huh.
think these podcasts are teaching men and or women how to lead or how to control? What's your take on that?
I think it depends on how the person hear it, how they interpret it. Because a person can be sitting on that stage giving you some gems.
Right,
Like the one that everybody be watching with Kitty, she talks about God a lot and she be
right,
on it,
right,
and
right.
everything she be saying be 100.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the other ones too. But guess what? Soon as they say something, they come back, but he this, but he that. You didn't, because you don't want the truth.
Right.
They giving it to you and you still don't want it. You want to be validated for being a fool.
But let me ask you guys this,
Hmm.
and I'm starting to hear a lot of this about
Hmm.
Dr. Joyce Bryant. I think that's her name.
Okay.
People were saying that she do a lot of giving relationship advice,
Hmm.
and got the doctor title in front of her name, but
Yeah.
she's not even married, and she's not a actual doctor. She don't
Okay.
even have the
Hmm.
documentation. Now, this is what they say. This is allegedly. I
Okay.
don't know, but this is what
Okay.
I've been seeing. You know, I don't know. I don't know her education. Where she
Right.
stands educational wise. But so
Hmm.
I'm a delete that.
Right.
Let's just talk about the relationship wise. How
Hmm.
are you in a position to tell me anything about how to treat a woman, how to get a woman to marry me, or how to treat my wife when you're not married?
Right. You're not that.
So how you know all this, and you trying to apply it to my life?
Right.
How does that work?
But see, that's just like when you tell a person, like if we say we got a dream and we want to go do something, well, how y'all gonna do that? Y'all ain't gonna be able to do that. You see what I'm saying? It's like you can't listen to everything that's out there. You have to filter what you actually can use and what you're willing to be honest with yourself about the areas you need to work in, or if what they're saying is identifiable, if it's you. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? And if it is, then guess what? That's the day you have to take some accountability, which a lot of people don't like to do, to actually say, I'm going to change and I want to grow from this and I want to learn from this and I want to be better. If not, you're going to keep on repeating the same cycle.
right. Okay. Well, let me ask you this.
Hmm.
Um, and one thing I can say about our podcast is that we don't judge whether it's
Right,
the man in the wrong or whether it's a woman in the wrong. We don't judge one way or another. We gonna
right,
say it how we see it. If I felt the
right,
man is wrong, I'm gonna say the man was wrong. If I felt the woman was wrong, and vice versa with you, right?
right.
But let me ask you this: Why do you think a lot of these podcasts are framing the woman to be the problem?
I don't know. That
Okay.
I can't answer. I could say maybe
Well,
because the woman, they always saying the woman is the prize, or she's always using sex for leverage.
okay.
I could say that.
Well, let me help you out a little bit, and this is what I think it is.
Okay.
I truly believe conflict sells. That's
Absolutely.
that's number one. Conflict sells, and when you blaming um
A particular
Blame
gender.
creates engagement.
I was just about to say that.
Right.
Absolutely.
It creates engagement. When you're blaming someone and someone else ties in and they say, oh, okay, now you got a clickbait situation. So
Absolutely.
that's why I think a lot of these podcasts is not, I'm not saying us, but I'm just saying a lot of these podcasts is frame the woman to be the problem because they
And
make it a clickbait type situation.
who's the biggest consumer? I would say women.
Right.
They buy into everything.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there you
You're
go.
right. You're right about that.
There you go.
So, that's just my firm belief,
I can agree with that.
and I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying women are always right. And I'm not
Right.
saying they're always wrong either.
Right.
Because
Right.
I'm gonna call you out one way or another if you're a man or a woman. If I
Right.
felt you wrong or you did something wrong or you did something inappropriate, then I'm gonna call you
Mm-hmm.
out on it. You know,
Right.
we don't judge over here. We're not biased over here. We keep it
Right.
100.
Right.
Uh, hmm. I don't know. Um let me see how do I want to pose this next question because I don't want to make it seem like we're
Just
biased.
say it. Just say it. And we gonna roll with it. Come on, look. We ain't gonna start trying to, what I'm saying, filter now. So
Right. Okay. All right. I'm with you. Okay. Well, let me say this. Do you think
okay.
men are being empowered or rationalized?
Both. I would say
Okay.
both.
Okay.
Because for the ones that don't have a voice and maybe they were being a provider and they want to make the woman happy and they just accepted anything, it could rationalize that they still could, what I'm saying, have self-respect and they can say no sometime or they can actually have a voice. You know what I'm saying? So I say empowerment and rationalizing things.
Right.
Both.
Right. Okay. Yes, Liz. That to answer your question. Yes, and rationalize. I mean, empowered by the podcast. That's what I speak of.
Yeah.
Okay. So are women changing, or are men just starting to notice more?
What are they changing for? What, the better or the worse?
I mean, either
Because
or.
I've seen, I think both. I've seen some women get up there and they let it just fly by them, so they didn't change anything. They still with their same program.
Well, I mean, I do know for a certain. It's kind of like once her mindset is programmed,
Right.
it's hard to change that.
Right.
No,
But so the thing is, if you're this woman and because on that same podcast, woman got well, I make more money than him, and she felt like he wasn't doing enough. He wasn't ambitious, and he was taking care of all the bills. Where she kept all her money to herself, and all the things that he was doing, and she didn't appreciate that. And they was like, "Ma'am, you struck gold with him or whatever." So the whole thing is, she don't appreciate nothing that he do, but she trying to diminish him and say he's not doing enough, so he's not the man. You see what I'm saying? So guess what? He needs to go on about his business and let her go find what she gonna get.
right. Well,
If he
Liz
not
said,
enough, why you still there?
right. Well, Liz made a comment. Liz said she don't even tune into those type of podcasts that bash women all day.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. I mean, I tune in, Liz. I'm sorry if I'm getting a little hot, y'all. If my mic coming in too loud, but you know, I don't tune in like that. I just be seeing different clips,
Right.
and the clips that I see, they gon' like I say, Deanna, they gonna clip the part that's gonna create the narrative
Right.
and and,
Absolutely.
and push the woman to look bad. Of course
Right.
they're gonna clip that part of it. But my thing is, like I say, women just some of these women just need to take a step back,
Right.
reevaluate the situation,
Right.
and listen because
Right.
if everything doesn't require a rebuttal. I mean, sometimes you have to listen to get a better understanding, because if I'm talking and you talking, you're not hearing what's being said.
Right.
You
And
know.
guess what? When they get up there and they say some of these things about women, it don't apply to me. So I don't
Right.
care.
Facts.
But we have our own podcast, so I always give either or and. You know what I'm saying? Because I want you to see the difference.
Right.
There's a woman that can be kind and considerate, and there's a woman that can be selfish, obnoxious. You know what I'm saying? It could be all of it. It's every type of person out here, man or woman.
But let me ask you this though: do you think the accountability is being taught on both sides here?
I do. I
Okay.
do. Because guess what? Whether if you're triggered either way, guess what? There go a chance for you to take some accountability. Because if you're not triggered, that means you're doing what you're supposed to do. If it bothers you in any type of way, why is it bothering you if it don't apply to you? Or why is
Right.
it bothering you if you don't feel like they could be talking about you? You see what I'm saying? So either way it go,
Well,
if you're triggered by it,
I do know a lot of the times these platforms are leaning heavily toward the criticizing one gender. Okay. And when you
yeah,
criticizing one gender, and when it's the woman,
right,
then if the next woman that's watching, she's gonna feel offended by it because
right,
it's the woman, and she considered herself a woman. So
right.
that's why they feel like that.
But guess what? I'm not finna argue with a man. If I'm treating you well and I'm treating you nice and I'm showing up being present every day, and now that you done watch this podcast and you want to push something off on me that you know that I'm not doing, guess what? Baby, go get what you want.
Right.
That's what I tell them all the time. Go get what you want. If you want a woman that got the big baby, go get what you want. If you want a woman such a baby, go get what you want. I'm not finna argue with you because guess what? I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna be me every day. And as long as I being me, I have respect for people. I consider people. I listen to what you gotta say. I consider your feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a lover. So it's like that's what I'm like, it really don't apply to me. I'm just gonna remove myself. Because
Right.
guess what? Now what I'm serving, you don't want to eat anymore. And that's fine by me. But you can never come back and get a plate again.
Right.
So I be cool.
Right. Well, Rich made a comment. Rich said he don't. I'm gonna narrate this a little bit. I'm gonna break it down. He said
Okay.
that he don't think it's the podcast that's making women look bad. He think it's more so like social media. He said every time you look on social media, women ain't doing nothing but showing their ass. They go to the
I
gym and
can
make
agree.
these gym videos. You know.
I agree.
So he said basically he's saying that he don't think it's the podcast that's doing it. You know, he says some women should speak out about that because it's belittling a lot of women, and that could be. I mean, I like that. I like that approach. I
Yeah,
like that. I like that. I like that. That
I agree. But
remark,
guess
Rich.
what? But they're being validated because the men are still checking for them. They're still in the inbox. They still clicking. They still watching everything. They sending these girls money. They flying them out. They still doing it. So why would they think they're doing something wrong? It don't even matter if they call them out on it.
That's
The
true
men
too.
the men the men are enabling them. What are you
Right.
talking about?
That's true. That's true too. I mean, if you're looking at it from that perspective, yes. You
When you
know.
look at the athletes too, they be talking about how they done got robbed by women, how they got set up, they be sleep, the girls be taking pictures with them. So why y'all still deal with them? Why y'all still dealing with that type of woman? Because you want to have a thrill, you finna give her a couple of bucks, you gonna fly her out. You know how many times I've turned down flights to get flued out? I don't
Right.
know you. The amount of money, I might not even make it back home. You see what I'm saying? So in my mind, it's like, I don't know you. I'm not finna partake in any of this. I don't feel safe. I don't feel comfortable. And I don't want your, whatever you want to call it.
Right. Right. Tiana, we got Candy Owens in the building. Happy Mother's Day, Candy. We appreciate you tuning in.
Hi, Andy.
No problem about you being joining late. You here. That's all that matters, and we
Right.
appreciate that.
So you see what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't have those stories because I'm not taking that bait. But then the man to get on there and talk about her, but you knew what type of woman you was dealing with when you flew her out.
Right.
So you see what I'm saying? It's an enabler that want to throw a rock but then go hide his hand. Which one you want to be, sir? Do you want to be empowered or you an enabler?
Right. Because that definitely don't help the situation when men do that. Because like you say, you
You
definitely
see what I'm
keeping them
saying?
enabled, doing that, you know. But um, I mean, I don't know. I really can't say. I
I
really
think
can't
people have
say.
to be honest about what they want. Don't settle. When you see red flags, move around if it's something that can't be corrected. And people will stop be complaining about they ain't got their person because ain't nobody fitting with nobody. It seems like y'all having a good time. Call it what it
Right.
is.
Yeah. It's sad though. I mean, it's sad that it's like that. But like I said.
Because look, even if they saying they don't want a relationship and you got a sneaky link for 15 years, what the hell you think that is? That's the lasting more than some people marriages.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Candy agrees. She say facts. That part. Yeah. I agree
So
with
guess
you.
what? That shows you can commit, but you being full of it because you just want to move in a way that you want to move. And that's why I tell people, be honest. It's somebody out there that want to move just like the way you want to, but they don't want it. That's not the fun of it. The fun of it is you manipulating the situation, having somebody blowing your phone up like you the man or whatever, and instead of actually having them blowing your phone up because they're smitten by you, they miss you, they want to see you again, like they thinking about you. You want that. People like that toxic love. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
And it's like everybody don't want that.
So do you think that's
Everybody
why let me ask you this. So do you think that's
don't.
why uh negative takes on women go viral faster than positive ones?
Yeah, because they just want to talk about when the woman crashed out. But what did you do, sir? Because
Right.
guess what? If the man cheated, now she finna start using her leverage in whatever way she got to use it. At that point in time, now y'all just misusing each other. So why y'all still together? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Why? And then you gonna sit up there on the podcast. Well, why women do this? Why they always want your money? Well, when she kept asking for it, why you just didn't leave? Why you give it to her?
Right. I was just saying
Why
why you keep
why
giving it to her.
why he keep cheating on me? You ain't learned, we gonna give you 3 strikes. You ain't learned after that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you can't keep blaming him, man.
Right.
Because
So do
guess
you
what? You like something that he got. You either like the D, you like the lifestyle, you like the money, you like the purse or whatever he got going on. That's why you stand.
right. So do you think podcasts like ours, do you think
Mhm.
we're exposing uncomfortable truths or are we exaggerating them? Do you think we exaggerate them?
No, I think we're exposing them. We ain't exaggerating nothing. We tell the truth over here.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, if you don't want the truth,
Right.
if you don't want the truth and you still want to live in the Lulu land, baby, it's a whole group of folks out there that want to be in there with you.
Right. Candy said, come on, Theana, talk about it.
And
Liz
that's
says
why that's why
exposing. Yes.
that's why I said I'm single. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I'm not finna give up my most prized possession. Cause everything else you can get over again. Like once I lay down and I give you my soul, my body, like I can't get that back from you.
Right.
That's I can't get that back. I can go buy some more shoes. I can, go take another trip. I can go to another dinner. I can't get that back once I give it to you.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Well,
I'm not finna keep arguing with these men and showing me that they not right and being delusional, thinking if I lay down with them, this gonna somehow make them be right. Absolutely not. I'm gonna be sitting over here talking about I done got knocked over the head.
right.
you know?
But see, sometimes too, though, women have to understand when you lay down and you give yourself to a man, y'all
Yeah,
souls intertwine,
absolutely.
and once those fluids exchanged, it's
Yeah.
like that's like a bond that can't be reversed.
I
You know
mean,
what I
you got to
mean?
go to God and ask him to remove the soul tie, and you got to break it off with him, and you got to actually, you know what I'm saying, do the steps. You got to do the hard work.
Right,
People be looking for distractions. That's why they have sex. That's why they drink. That's why they go out. That's why they have they be having all these different addictions, you know what I'm saying, trying to fill voids, because everybody really want love. That's why people be crashing out as soon as they see something. How you mad at the sneaky link because you see them out with somebody else when y'all sneaking? You wasn't never supposed to be in the daylight, no way, fool.
right, right. You're right.
Why you mad? You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Candy
That's
made a
why I tell a
comment.
person, nah,
Candy commented. She said, no, not at all. She said, you all tell the truth and nothing but the truth, and I love the realness. Right. You know, and that's what we base it. We base it
man,
on, keeping it real with our people because
right,
for those of you that may not know, this is why we came up with the name Situations the podcast,
right.
because we all have situations.
It's
We
always a
all
situation.
absolutely, and we always dealing with something.
Right,
And the situations that we're having, I'm pretty sure you guys can relate to those situations because I'm pretty
right,
sure you have situations or similar to.
right. But the
So
goal is to, okay, we situations gonna keep on arising, but I'm a woman, so from a male perspective, I'm listening to you, who's ever tuned in as a viewer, as a man, like, what can you do? What advice can you give me? You see what I'm saying? So I'm
right,
listening as a woman.
right,
I'm not saying I know it all, and I be telling stuff that I went through because, like when we talk about pretty privilege and all this other stuff, baby, I done been knocked over the head, lied to, bamboozled, and everything else. You know what I'm saying? So ain't nobody exempt. You know what I'm saying? But I did. I learned from my situation. So guess what? I'm not going through that stuff again. As soon as I start seeing a half of a red flag, I'm gone.
right. So let me ask you ladies this, and this is gonna be for the ladies
Mhm.
that's tuned in.
Okay.
Do you guys think women are misunderstood on these platforms, or are they actually called out?
I think they're called out.
Okay,
Sometimes they could be misunderstood, but I would say it's only because they don't even know how to uh control their emotion, or sometimes they don't even know why they mad. They just mad.
okay,
Because I had a friend that she was in a relationship, but it was like she carried the baggage from every other relationship that she was in.
okay,
So for the women, do the men actually get a fair chance? You see what I'm saying? Because now you coming in with these ridiculous standards. Nobody you talk to was 6'4". Nobody you talk to had six figures. And if they did you get some of it? So stop saying all of that if you never didn't even get it.
right. Well, Candy also made another comment. She said she can relate to every podcast that we've ever invited her to, and
That's what's up.
that's why we call it Situations the podcast. You
Yeah.
notice, Candy, that a lot of times we don't even talk about the rich and famous because we're not in that we can't relate.
Right.
We're not dealing with the pressures that they deal with.
Right.
We're gonna talk about things that we know you guys can relate to and
Right.
understand because we've all been through them. I'm not saying
Right.
their situations are any different from ours. They're just
No.
their tax brackets is different from ours.
Right.
So it makes their situations a little more complicated, but
Right.
we appreciate that though, Candy. We really do. We really do. And she said that she agreed with you. She agreed with you, Theana, and that's the mistake they make. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have to be. You got to be able to learn from those mistakes too. And men and or women. You got to
Right.
know when to walk away. You got to know when to
Right.
walk away.
Right.
Can't keep overlooking those flags like you said, Deanna. Can't
Right.
keep overlooking. Well, let me ask you. Let me ask you this, dear, because I know you
Mm-hmm.
said something earlier in the broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, let me ask you this. Do you think
Okay.
that terminology, high value men, do you think that concept is motivating or misleading?
It should be motivating, but it be misleading because sometimes they use it to diminish.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Because I
Right.
could be a woman that admires a high value man, could be submissive,
Right.
you know, or whatever else. But when you're walking with a disdain, like I'm him and XYZ, and it's like, no, that's because a high value man is valuable all over the board. It's not just your status as far as being excellence or an elite or whatever, but it's also being a leader. It's all also showing compassion. It's also showing respect. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it doesn't matter if whatever preference you may have, whatever, but you still have those leading core values. That makes you a high value man on top of everything else that you have accomplished and what you have to offer.
But do you think these podcasts are replacing real life situations?
You said, are they replacing?
Yeah.
What you mean replacing them?
Like, let's say for instance, opposed to dealing with the real life situations,
Hmm.
they taking the information from us and applying it to their situation, opposed to dealing with the real life situation.
Well, that's why I was saying people need to have some accountability because I mean, they could watch any podcast, but if you're not being honest about where you are, if that person that they're identifying is you, or you dealing with somebody who has some of those traits, you never gonna get no clarity or no, you know what I'm saying, resolution to whatever you got going on.
Right.
So I think they're just tuned in for the entertainment with it, and they're not actually tuning in to get the gem from it to apply it to their life.
She's back. Okay. All right, Diana. I don't know what happened there. You dropped your call dropped or
I got a call came in, and
oh
I got
okay.
it on do not disturb, so I don't know.
Okay. All right. Candy had made a comment for you. She was saying, real talk, Diana, much love and respect to you. You
Thank
be
you,
there.
Candy.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like when they're on there, I think it's a lot of great information. There's and perspectives getting, you know what I'm saying, being put out there. I listen to them or whatever, and I think the information is there. But that's what I'm saying. Do you want to accept it or not? That's the question.
Right. Uh that was your auntie that called you? She said
Yeah.
sorry. Okay, auntie. We accept your apology, no problem. Right. Okay. Well, I mean, but you know, I'm gonna say this. She said happy Mother's Day, Diana.
Thank you, Titi.
Well, let me say this. You know, my thing is when we talk
Hmm.
about these type of subjects and we talk about, you know, when we talking about men or we talking about women or we talking about the relationship in itself, you know, my
Right.
thing is when we talk and someone get frustrated or irritated by something that we said or something that
Yeah.
we talking about, then that means it's hitting home.
That's
That's
what I
all it
said.
means.
Right. Exactly.
That means it's
And
hitting
we've
home.
had that.
Right.
We've had
Absolutely.
that happen.
Right. We just had that happen 2 weeks ago. You know.
And I be like, I'm still standing on the point that I'm making. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not saying your point is wrong. Everybody's entitled to their own perspective. But when you have to get disrespectful because somebody is not agreeing with you, you still need to take a deeper look.
Right. That should be evident enough right there. You know,
Exactly.
if we giving our perspective on something and now you
Exactly.
mad, what you mad for?
Exactly.
Apparently you're mad for one reason and one reason only. It's because what we're
Right.
saying applying to you. That's why
Right.
you're mad.
Yeah. The only way I get passionate about something when we could be talking about something and they be like, well, you this and you no, don't say me. You in the group with them. No, I'm not. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? Like, that's gonna piss me off because I know I'm not. I'm in the bed at 8:30 and when I could be out there chalupa, you know?
Right. Right. Candy said most people she said some people just can't handle the truth or the reality of it. And that's true.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
true. And that's when we know when we have and this ain't the first time this has happened to us. This happened
No.
to us quite a few times, you know, and I love it. I love it. I really do. I love that when that happens because that means the topic was great. Oh, excuse
Yep.
me. The topic was great, and if it made you mad,
Mhm.
then
Yep.
what we saying working. Because
Right.
a hit dog gonna holler.
Right.
You know, if you're not hollering, then apparently it didn't apply to you,
Right.
or apparently it doesn't relate to you.
Right.
But
I
when you
told
want to
you.
get disrespectful and saying this and saying that and we wrong, we this and we that, then apparently
Right.
we hit the dog we was looking for.
Right. I told
That's
you
it.
I was at a nightclub one time, and the person was like, "Why you not on stage with everybody else? Like, you a celebrity too." And I don't consider myself a celebrity, you know what I'm saying? But he was like, "You the who's who," and I'm like, "I'm me wherever I stand at.
Right.
The value is wherever I'm at.
Right.
It don't.
Absolutely.
I'm not less valued because I'm not up there. It's crowded up there. I want to breathe. I want to move around. So I don't have to go where the majority is because you feel like I fit in that group or whatever. But I'm still me. I'm still upper echelon, whether I'm up there or down here. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Well,
The quality and the value is still there.
Anita made a comment, and I agree with her wholeheartedly. She said we can agree to disagree. Most people don't know how to
Right.
do that. That's why so many broken homes and families. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And there's nothing wrong with the agreeing to disagree. There's nothing wrong with
But you
that.
know that when they can't do that, it's a lack of respect there. That's disrespectful.
Right. Right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Okay, well, I wanna say this. Let me ask you guys this.
Okay.
Okay, Liz made a comment. She said, yes, she learned to agree to disagree and keep it moving. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Um, Candy said, I wish I could chime in with you guys because I would love to talk from straight experiences. Candy, we
You
definitely can
can.
make that happen. You know, that's not a problem.
Absolutely.
If you ever want to be a guest on our show, you can just reach out to me, shoot me a message, and we can arrange it. You know, that's not a
Absolutely.
problem. Because if you had a story you want to tell, let's talk about
Yeah.
it. Let's talk
Yeah.
about it. And, there's no judgment over here. There's no
Right.
judgment. We're gonna let you tell your story, and we're gonna, give you the best advice that we could possibly give you.
Right.
But like I said, I would love to have you. Just reach out to me. Let's make it happen.
Absolutely.
That's not a problem whatsoever. Um, Liz also made a comment. She says, "I'm open to being a guest depending on the topic." No, no, Liz. No, no, Liz.
But
We keep
Liz, do you have a topic? So that's the whole thing is, do you have a topic?
right,
And maybe
right,
you could think about it before you decide you want to come on. Think about something you want to talk about.
right. Or
We
if you
open.
experiencing something that you wanna talk about openly, let's do it. We
Right.
don't have no problem with that. We would
Right.
love to hear you guys. We would love to have you guys come on and talk about it and let's see how we can help. And let's how we can help one
Right.
another. That's what it's all about.
Right.
We're
Because
not
this is
gonna
a
get
safe
you on
space.
here and bash
We
you.
not we not finna tear you down. We're here
No,
for support.
absolutely. Absolutely. We here to uplift. We're not
Right.
looking to tear nobody down or none of that.
Right.
That's we don't do that over here. We don't carry on like that.
Right.
Okay. She said, okay, she'll think about it. Yeah, you think about it, just let me know. And like I said, we definitely can make it happen. And as far as you,
Liz,
Candy,
look,
we can
Liz,
definitely make
throw
it
me in the fire because you know I got them for you.
happen.
I don't give a.
Okay, let me ask this. I'm gonna close out with this. I'm gonna close out with this.
Okay.
Um, do you think do you think these podcasts are really the problem, or is just a reflection of a deeper issue between men and women?
It's a deeper issue between men and women
Okay. And what made you think
because
that
they're not receiving the messages that the podcast recipients are giving out. They just saying, if the man, see, the man win, we up 500, the city boys up. Then when the woman, see, now the woman, they still making it a war. When the podcast, you know, panel is actually there to give advice, because they're trying to shed some light on some stuff to actually bring us back together. We supposed to be loving on each other. Y'all keep trying to
Absolutely.
divide. That's not it. That ain't the answer.
Right. Liz agree with it. She says it's definitely a deeper issue. And I
Yeah,
agree. I agree. Candy also made the same comment. She says it's a deeper issue.
it
So
is.
I agree with that. Uh,
Sir, if you don't got peace and you ain't ready to love, stay from over here.
right. Candy,
That's
you
it.
said there was a topic that we had that deserves a part two. What topic was that? Tell me what topic that was, and we can redefine a part two. That's not a
Right.
problem. You know, it's not a problem whatsoever. Just tell us what it is. Tell us what the topic was that you felt deserved a part two, and we gonna get it a part two.
Right.
Okay. But once again, guys, let me get some dates for you guys. Hold on, stay tuned real quick. I wanna. Okay, today is the 10th. So, okay, guys, today concluded our season 8 for us. Okay, today is season 8. We won't be on air the 17th, which is next Sunday. Whenever we complete a season, we always take 1 week off. We will
Right.
be back to start season 9 on the 24th. Same time, same place. Okay, at 6 p.m. So, once again, today concludes season 8. Season 9 will begin on the 24th. And we look forward to seeing you guys back then. Also,
Absolutely.
I want you guys to keep in mind, we do have our 100th episode coming up. I told you guys I'm gonna make sure I keep reminding you, because our 100th
Yes.
episode, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna reflect back on some past topics. We're gonna reflect back on some past guests, things that got, what made us get us to this point in life from
Right.
when we first started. We're just gonna have some fun that episode. We're just gonna celebrate
Right.
100 episodes. Okay. Candy say last week's episode. Okay, all right. So you said you felt last week's episode deserves a part two. Okay, we can definitely make that happen. And Liz said the 10th is her dad's birthday. Okay, well, happy birthday, Dad.
Happy
We on
birthday.
behalf of Situation the Podcast, we want to send your father a major shout out. Okay.
Yes.
Boy, wait a minute. Hold on. Shit. Hold on. Tiana already know where I'm going. She's starting to smile. She already know what I'm finna do. Hold
You
on,
know what?
hold on. Hey,
Let me
Liz.
get my water.
Liz, right, Liz. I'm gonna show you how in tune me and Tiana is. You said the 10th was your dad's birthday, right? And when I said hold on, she started smiling because she already know where I'm going. Let me get me a drink. Hold on.
Oh
Okay,
my
Liz.
goodness.
Liz, we're gonna Liz, we don't know it's a celebration. It may not even be a topic, Liz. It might just be a celebration episode. We might just name it the celebration episode.
Right.
100 episode celebration. But hold on. Okay. Liz, we're gonna do something special for your dad. Since we won't be on the 10th, I got something okay, Liz says she got her drinks. Yeah, make sure y'all have your drinks. Have your drinks ready. Because like I said, it's gonna be a party.
Yeah.
Candy says she got her iced tea. Okay, me too, Liz. Well, I'm drinking root beer today, but I'm with you. But what I want to do for Liz, is since we won't be on for your dad for
Yeah.
his birthday, and I want you to clip this, Liz. Matter of fact, if you can screen record this, what's your dad's name? Let me tell me your dad's name real quick. Yes, we can do that too, Liz. We're open to anything. We're gonna have you. I can have the phone lines open because you definitely can call into the show. So if you
Right.
guys want to be a guest and pop in and say something to us on our 100th episode, we can make that happen as well. Your dad name is Rufus. Okay, all right, got it. Okay, Liz, I want you to screen record this because this is for your dad, Rufus. Stay tuned. All right, Theana, you know what to do.
I know. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rufus. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Rufus, from Situations to Podcast.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Liz, you didn't even know you didn't know we was equipped like that, did you? Yeah. Happy birthday, Rufus, and many, many more. Liz, tell your father on behalf of Situation Podcast, we said happy birthday. Okay. All right, guys, that's going to conclude our show for today. Once again, we had another amazing episode, and we appreciate you guys rocking with us for the whole entire hour and 7 minutes. We greatly appreciate that. And we look forward to seeing you guys for the beginning of season 9. And I hope you guys continue to rock with us and, become, and we want you guys on the show. We definitely want you guys to be a part of the show. And once you become part of the show, you become family. Okay. Candy said, okay, lady, go ahead. Okay. Oh, she say her dad is dead. He's seen it. Okay. All right. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what's up.
That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, guys. That's going to conclude our show for today. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We look forward to seeing you guys on the 10th. On the 27th for season 9. Once again, I want to say thank you guys for being a part of our Situational Podcast. We look forward to seeing you guys real soon. Peace.
See y'all soon.